All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of This Week in Charts via Carnivore Trades and Wall Street from Main Street. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it this week. So if you'll recall last week, I was looking for 5,400 to be a battleground, and I was kind of having still an upside bias through that. And I said, if we get through this area, we should squeeze up, and we have done that. So Tuesday we had a big rally blowing through the 5,400 handle, and we're up another 150 points now, actually about 160 from that breakout. And on the week we are up from 50 to essentially 55. So 200 point rally this week. And last week we talked about this, how we closed above the weekly 20 MA. After all that, panic and much ado, we did have a massive squeeze. Now we are really, this is an epic rally here. I thought 5,400 would have been way more of a battleground. I was surprised. I was bullish going into this week, but this was way more of a rally than I thought we were going to get here. And markets are acting very, very well right now. Now we do have, today is OPEX day for the month of August. So and part of what went into my assumption of being bullish here is a lot of puts, a lot of panic was bought. In fact, the most amount of puts on record ever were bought into that hole there. And you have to figure if the market's going to rebound, the closer you get to OPEX, those puts are going to start to decay, which causes dealers to buy back stock, and that creates a supportive flow. We've completely negated this entire vol move here. We're back to where we were on July 23rd. And if you look at the spiders here, it's a little trend line here. We just gapped above it yesterday. But July 23rd was right here. So we basically erased that whole move there. If we look at the NQ, I've been following this. We've gotten all the way back to a 618 retrace already. There's some resistance here. And if we look at the SPX, which is what I follow, you can see we went back to, that trend line. We stalled out there today. But we've also already hit a 786. Look at this. We've already retraced almost 80% of the move. So incredible rally here. And markets are... obviously, there was way too many shorts at the low. I talked about that extensively. VIX hitting 66. That's a level where you start buying things long term, right? It's only happened 4 times ever. Not to say that everything's a long-term buy here, but generally, if you bought during COVID, if you bought during the GFC, if you bought during 1987, you did pretty well. But amazing move here. And look at the monthly candle now on the SPX. We can get rid of these lines here. Look at that there. So unbelievable move. Now, I want to say really quickly, though, market has recovered nicely. Bulls are obviously back in control here. Just a couple things, though. We haven't built any support on the way up. A lot of people are comparing this to the April rally. Well, we had this big rally, but we put in a big base here before we made that rally. So we put in a base here, and then we rallied 300 points. We've rallied 450 with no pullback. It's actually the largest rally since March 2022. So you can see here, and this is as of yesterday. We've actually rallied more than that. The largest screenshots is March 2022. We've actually rallied more than that if you include today's price action. Why do I bring that up? Well, March 2022 was a bear market rally. This type of move here with no pullback, that's kind of what happens in bear phases. I'm not saying that we're going to have another volatility event. I'm not saying to get bearish, but there is some risk here for a tail, I think. And we have VIX expiration coming up. That's the VIX contract rollover. The last time that happened was right here, the 17th of July. So we gapped down, we moved down. We also have this Friday, Jackson Hole. If you're a bull, you kind of want the market to pull back a little bit before those events. That's kind of my take here. This sort of rally, if we look at the intraday here, look at this, it's just melt up. There's zero pullback the entire time, no lower lows at all. And as a bull, you don't want us to be just melting up into those major volatility events. Right, we had too many bears down here, but if you kill the bears too quickly and Powell says something the market doesn't like, there's nobody to stop us if we come back. So there could be a little bit of tail risk here. Again, I'm not telling anybody to go short. I'm not scaring anybody here, but just keep that in the back of your mind here. But what an incredible rally here. We'll know, if the market holds up and makes it through this week without any major volatility, I think the market's fine. But just keep that in the back of your mind for next week. But incredible rally here off the lows and just an amazing V-shape, a historic move with a historic sell. QQQ, you can see here, went to the 618 as well. We got back above that trend line there. And we're into the 618 now. So again, we may stall out here again. If you're a bull, I do think you want us to stall out a little bit and cut back some of that tail risk. I looked at this last week as well. If we look at the NQ here, see the 618. We can also extend all the way back here to the the January 2023 low, and we draw a trend line through the lows here. You can see we pierced that on the 5th, back tested it, and now we've just squeezed up. So either way you look at it, very, very strong rally here, and just a historic move. Russell 2000, again, getting back above that 210 handle. We talked about that last week being resistance, and it is above that now. I'm watching the monthly candle too on the Russell. If we close out the month strong, this could just be a back test candle on the monthly, which really isn't terrible. But the Russell has been lagging here. It has not had as much of a V shape as the rest of the market. Obviously, lots of talk about recession that will kind of keep small caps under some pressure here, but it is up today, and we'll see what it does by the end of the month here. Dow back above 40K. You can see the diamond here right into this top side trend line, so that may back off early next week. You can see the actual DJI, just about the same thing. It's not perfect, not exact. I think that, the DIA pays dividends, so it's probably a little bit skewed there, but nonetheless, we're above 40,000, and the Dow getting a nice pop here. SMH, again, similar trend line as the Qs. It's basically, the SMH basically is the Qs at this point. Fractionally lower today, but no problems. Just into a big level. So semi-solar, you can see the socks here, same thing. IGV, I continue to like IGV. It's had a very good V shape. It's now into this top side trend line. I like a pullback here, but again, the bull case here for this is, this monthly here is still very good. So again, there's a lot of charts out there that are good. There are some that are a little concerning, but I think if the bulls can get through the next week or so, that's going to really tell us what we're going to do, kind of like going into the fall. So, long story short, I think there is some tail risk here. I definitely won't be shy about saying that, but a lot of sectors, a lot of charts are not terrible. So we have to get through this next week or so. Transports here again, getting a good pop. I talked about 15.7. That's kind of where we are right now. We overshot a little bit yesterday and we pulled back in, but weekly chart still looks fine. So good recovery for the transports there, despite all the recession talk. Here's another little point for the bulls here. Credit spreads are coming down. I just threw this on there as well. And you can see the peak on Friday, the 5th, and we've come down. So that's a positive here. If that starts to change, I'll let you guys know. But again, that's obviously a welcome sight for bulls. I'm just a little have my antennas up just a little bit. Due to how quickly they've rallied off the lows. You don't want to kill the bears too fast. But either way, yields here. So 2-year continuing to bounce off the lows, still has some trouble with 410. If it gets through that, 420, and then really could go back to 440. This is poking holes in a lot of narratives. Some of the data we've been getting lately has actually been pretty positive economically. And you can see the yield curves here still kind of backing off of the flat line or the parity level, and the 3-month 10-year is still not really doing anything. I think that right now, and I know for a fact that hedge funds are very short commodities, and they're very long bonds, and they were short stocks. They probably aren't anymore. I think that that could unwind very quickly. It's very hard to predict a recession timing-wise, and I think a lot of people are trying to do that. And you're seeing yields here, despite being red today, they have a higher low set up here. And if we start to see that 10-year start to push back up above 4%, I think we can go to 420. That's going to kill a lot of narratives. But we do have Jackson Hole coming up, and we'll see what Powell says. But yields trying for a higher low here. And again, if that yield curve starts to invert again, people's heads are going to explode. Because everybody's waiting for them to fully uninvert so the recession can come. But it's very tricky, especially when everybody's betting on the same thing. Home builders here continue to be a weak sector. And they have been market leaders for a while. We are back above 110, but still not above that reversal bar high or that sell bar high. I'd like to see that to have confirmation of more upside. The positive is the weekly chart is still above the moving averages, and the trend is still up. But this week, kind of soft, not participating in the rally. It's a laggard. Commercial real estate, again, not participating in the rally this week, but it's still at 52-week highs, so it gets a pass there, and I still think this chart's fine. So this chart is okay for now, and VNQ is fine. XLF, nice recovery. That's coming into a triple top here. That may back off. KRE, good outside move this week. That still has resistance at 55.50 to 56. KBE, good outside move. Again, got resistance there with the gap fill as well. And broker dealers just can't keep them down. So look at that slice, 1, 2, 3 down. That was it. And it's right back to basically all-time highs here. So broker dealers always strong. Or at least have been for a while. Oil here backing off today. We did get a contract roll, so sometimes you get some shenanigans there. But again, oil's still in a range. A lot of people talking about Iran. I just don't see it right now. I think if it comes, you'll see it, and the oil market will tell us before anything else does. But down to $1.50 here today. Nothing really great or bad with it. It's just a neutral chart. We could probably even, I know I have this old wedge here. Yeah, this is a little different due to contract decay or contract rolls, but yeah, we could use the weekly. That's kind of the adjusted look. But you can see higher lows here nonetheless, and lower highs. So it's compressing. It's going to make a move, and it is compressing for that. But I don't have a bias on it right now. I do think energy stocks are interesting. Also very heavily shorted. XLE having a decent up week this week. Exxon is a chart that I really like, especially on the monthly time frame. But energy stocks continuing to bounce. XOP inside day today, but I still think that can possibly test 142. And then OIH still a little disappointing. I was really hoping that would get back above 305 by the end of the week. And didn't really do that. It is green on the week, though. I still like the monthly chart on this, though. Uranium, again, still looking for CCJ to maybe, it's basically gotten there. But we filled the gap yesterday. Maybe it gets back up to 42. That's kind of all the upside I see at the moment. And then URNM, same kind of deal. Maybe upside to the gap fill. URNJ, maybe upside to 20 and change. Just in the short term. Nat gas had a good week up until today. It's backing off here, and I still think, well, this definitely has room for higher lows now. I think this may have bottomed for the season, meaning kind of going into November. Usually late August to November is when this really starts to rally, but it did back off a little bit today. It hit my 230 resistance, and it backed off here. So we'll see. You want to see it hold, I would say $2. Let's just take a fib there. Yeah, I would say $2, 203. As long as it can stay above that, you can put in a higher low and maybe advance from there. Could be also an inverse head and shoulder type setup there if it can curl back up. But right now, backing off a little bit this week. Dollar index was down again, and was unable to rally on some of the good data. So this is a little bit of a red flag here for the markets. See the dollar yen backing off. I talked about going back to 150. We basically got there yesterday, 149.38, and that's where we're backing off to, or backing off of, as you can see that trend line there, and the 20 moving average. So dollar coming back in. So there's a point for the recession, people. Gold continues to be the strongest, really the strongest asset, pretty much in the whole market. New all-time highs, new all-time closing high. What can you say? I told you I've been telling, I told you guys for months, if this 20 MA just catches up to price, what's going to happen? And that is taken off. I also like silver a lot here. I think it's way too shorted. It's way undervalued right now, and it had a pretty good week this week. Platinum still got to close above. It had that sell bar there. We close above that. That's a failure, and I think it'll go higher. Starting to get interesting here. It looks like it wants to. And then palladium here, again, that weekly, that may be a false breakdown. Copper, this one's my favorite. We are in this in the trading room, and we got some nice gains on the table already on this. Beautiful falling wedge. And we went right into a 618 fib retrace, as you can see right there. Picture perfect and beautiful pop. I think this can get to 420, 425, maybe 430. Again, I think this whole recession trade is very crowded. And that doesn't mean we won't have one, but it's very hard to make money on it, right? So we'll see here, but good move there for copper. Nice falling wedge breakout and pushing back up to the possibly 425 handle. Bitcoin's still holding up. You do have a bull inside bar. The only thing I don't like is it's below the moving averages. If we were above them, I would be a lot more bullish on it. But we'll see if it can break back above, 63, 63.5. It's looking pretty good. I think the clock's ticking on this breakout too. Again, just like gold, that monthly 20 MA, it's catching up. So that monthly pattern's really tight. I like it. So we'll see if Bitcoin can get it done. Probably not right now, but maybe in a month or two. But again, spiders here, again, having a historic rally here. Amazing move this week. Again, bears have a little bit of a window here, I think. The reason I entertain that is because we have not pulled back all week, and we have two major volatility events coming up. You don't really, typically the rule of thumb is you don't want to be melting up into those. If anything, if you're bullish, you want us to be down into those. Who knows? We could pull back first couple of days next week, but either way, amazing rally here. We have retraced 78.6% of the move. We'll see if we get a little bit more of a pullback or something early next week. But if bulls can get through the next week or two, I think that they'll be okay. But definitely a little bit. We got Jackson Hole coming up. We've got VIX expiration on Wednesday, so just be aware of those little traps there. So, anyways, guys, gonna wrap it up here. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me at carnivaltrades.com, and I'll see you guys all next week.